Folks, we are here. We have made it. It is Friday, September 18th, 2020. I am James. You are you. We are here for the weekend welcoming edition of At Home with James. Have you had a taxing weekend? Have you been banging the company drum? Have you been towing the company line? Have you been hitting that pavement? Or are you somebody like me who wakes up and wonders, what's today going to be about? Am I going to play Spider Solitaire for 3 hours or 5 hours? Am I going to take 2 walks or am I going to take 6 walks? Am I going to make dinner? Am I going to buy dinner? Or is Dave Kaufman, technical director of this show, going to cook me dinner with the help of his wife, Sarah, and their newborn child? The questions, I hope, if you're out there and you're asking them to yourselves, have been answered. Tonight's show is what they say on the street, a dilly of a pickle. That means this is going to be sweet, this is going to be sour, this is going to be everything in between, because tonight is the nerdiest edition of Judgment Night. Now, what does it mean to be part of Judgment Night? Well, I'm going to tell you. For about a month and a half now, Marc Rowland has been the subject of a segment known as Nerd versus Noob, in which he, our resident nerd, faces off against a variety, a plethora, a cavalcade, a circus of noobs in a series of role-playing game-based scenarios. Now, as somebody who's known Marc for almost 10 years, he is one of, if not the nerdiest people I've ever met. Despite that, he has been unable to win one edition of this segment. He has done so poorly that this segment has been canceled, not by me, but by the person who writes these scenarios. You met this person last night. You heard their ominous voice. You experienced their intimidating being, their unsettling essence, the Game Master. Tonight, for the first time ever, Marc Rowland will meet the Game Master. What is in store for Marc Rowland? Hell, what's in store for me? What's in store for the viewers? I have no idea. But what I do know is that this show is going to be 100% dorkier than ever before. In addition to this, a huge surprise that I can't wait to experience and to give to you, our loyal viewer, our loyal fan base, right here on twitch.tv/athomewithjames, the return of one of my favorite guests of all time, but one of the show's least popular guests, 9-year-old Jack Kaufman, will be on At Home with James. Now, if you're not familiar with Jack Kaufman, he is a wimpy young man. He is also the 9-year-old nephew of Dave Kaufman. That's coming up tonight. Now, before we really kick it into high gear, I want to check in with our, I guess you could call him our subject of this evening. Let us bring in Marc Rowland to see how he's feeling tonight. Marc, how are you doing, buddy?
Ooh, James, I'm doing pretty good. I really liked how your microphone just slid into view at one point. It was real smooth.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I was about to promote the show on Instagram before we went live. I don't even think I sent it, and I didn't arrange my phallic-looking microphone, so I guess I didn't notice it. I wasn't looking at myself as probably really out of view, and then all of a sudden,
it just sort of slides in.
It just slides in. Marc, how's your week been?
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting there?
I'm there. I'm getting
You're there. Okay.
Yeah,
well, I want to ask you, did you have an you're getting a little toasted, roasted, and mosted. Marc, were you able to tune into last night's episode?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. And I'm to understand that you heard the Game Master.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, what were your impressions?
Oh, I mean, I think the whole thing is rather strange, especially this guy who I know he's got to be from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, let's break down a bit of a history lesson here. Some nerd versus noob history. The Game Master does not email me with any type of what seemingly is an updated email address. He comes to me from the email address overlord616sith@gmail.com. Now, I'm not sure what the origins of an overlord is, but I know that Sith is something to do with Star Wars. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I learned that through you. And I just thought that 616 was an arbitrary or irrelevant number. You did some digging, and you are to believe, and you have expressed this on the show a multitude of times, that you believe 616 is the Game Master's area code, which you deciphered as being the area code for Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm convinced.
So you do not believe that the Game Master is Canadian?
No, I don't think so. No.
Now, I have reason to believe. At first, I thought that this was a kooky or wacky idea. I thought that the pressure of this segment was turning you mad. I don't know why I did that voice, but maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I'm turning into a bit of a nerd myself tonight.
Yeah, that was really a good character.
Yeah. I don't know what that character's name is. Kooky scientist.
Yeah.
Which can be seen in a variety of improv warm-up circles around Canada. It sounds like a very Ottawa improv character.
Well, not right now anyway.
Yeah, not right now anyways. That's true. Last night when the Game Master was on, I asked him, Game Master, where do you come from? And he said, I'll give you one hint. Of course, his voice wasn't as welcoming as mine. He said, there is a hot dog named after where he hails from. Now, there's a variety of ways he could be from Chicago. There's a Chicago dog. Yeah. He could be a New York weenie.
Yeah.
But of course, as I was trying to decipher this, he openly said it's a Michigan. So it was what I believe to be the worst riddle ever given in the history of mankind. Because he let in with, James, there's a hot dog named after it. A couple beats of silence. It's a Michigan. So I believe your insane scenario that I thought was totally outlandish and totally unbelievable appears to be true, because he gave me an I don't even know how to put this into words. He gave me a riddle with too much information in it.
He gave you the answer.
Yeah, it was a riddle that also featured an answer.
Yeah. Well, that's now, that's like the kind of quiz where, you just give way too much information. Maybe the answer is written at the bottom of the page. Like you just flip it over, like, oh, it's in Michigan. You're like, well, oh, okay.
I must say, for someone who's about to face the Game Master, weeks and weeks of tumultuous rounds, I guess we can call them. I don't suspect you did as well as you thought you would in the segment, but over the past couple of weeks during the Ultimate Nerd Test, you answered correctly 15 out of a possible 16 questions.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe you feel good going into tonight.
I feel good because ultimately I think that the Game Master was kind of cheating in those scenarios, that there was some like reason that the Game Master wanted to take me down,
Well, so I know that last night, to give a recap to people, I certainly don't want to take any words out of the Game Master's mouth. He believes that you are too cool, and I don't think drinking that beer is doing you any favors.
Yeah.
I think if you had some type of rock star energy drink, you'd be in his favor. Beer is pretty cool.
Yeah. But James, okay, if we look at the definition of nerd,
please.
First one that comes up is a foolish or contemptible person who lacks social skills or is boringly studious. Okay, if you go just by that definition, sure.
Yeah, we've got a Marc Rowland here. We've got a Marc Rowland.
No, I'm saying that's not me.
I don't know. Poor social skills, boring conversation.
Foolish or contemptible.
Okay, well, let's hold on. Mark, would you say that you have a history in being foolish? You like the arts. You're a bit of a clown. You've been trained in the art of clown. That's foolish.
I guess so.
Okay, so let's examine that next one. What did you say the word was? Contemptible?
Yeah.
Okay, well let's define contemptible. Deserving contempt or despicable. Now, I'm willing to say that I don't think this is on brand, but many people hate you.
Okay. Well, I guess you just wrecked my argument here.
Well, hold on. Okay, what was the next one?
Someone who enjoys learning and obtaining new information in general for its own sake.
You love learning.
Yeah. Someone who's into books or computers. And are unbelievably attractive. The new sexy.
Okay, well, now I think you're reading some type of alternative definition for nerd.
This is here. It's on the internet.
Well, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Yeah, so,
Urban Dictionary.
Mark, with that said, you seem pretty upbeat. You seem confident. You look confident. You're having a beer. So clearly you're going into this pretty casual tonight.
Well, look, in the first parts, yes, I had difficulty. I think the chips were stacked against me. But in the second part where I was answering questions, I had a 93.75 average.
Now you did your own calculation. I did not do that calculation.
Correct.
Okay, so let's talk about the first couple weeks. I've never seen you look so defeated, unless it was maybe me crushing your ass in rounds of NHL 94.
Well, yeah, you beat me, but how many seasons did you win versus how many I won?
You know what? I don't remember, but let's just say I've seen you in the pits of despair due to loss. I've never seen you like this, but you were taking it out on me.
Competitive.
Which affected our friendship, in which I felt you to be contemptible.
Fair.
And foolish.
In that situation. Yeah. Well, I always use Buffalo, so.
Yeah. Well, coming into tonight, I feel good. I don't know what's in store for you. I have yet to receive any. Usually the Game Master sends me emails, all lowercase letters, no punctuation. So I don't know. That seems off brand for a nerd. I feel like a nerd would be into uppercase, lowercase in appropriate usage. I've yet to receive any production notes, which leads me to believe he's still working on it.
I kind of feel like the Game Master would fit in best, from the 1980s, and would be sending you letters. He plays like games, like there's these games by mail. You could play a Conan game by mail. You would send in your moves.
This is part of the nerd description in terms of discussing boring information.
Yeah, exactly. But that would be that the Game Master is the kind of person who'd be doing that from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay, well, we're going to confirm if the Game Master, hopefully confirm if he is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So, Mark, we're going to have you sit tight. We're going to send you back to the waiting room. We're going to put you back in the queue, and we'll see you in segment 3 for Judgment Night. Well, okay, I guess Mark didn't want to say goodbye or anything, or like, okay, I'll see you in a little bit. Very contemptible. That is Marc Rowland. In my opinion, the nerdiest guy I know. We're talking about a legend of the Canadian improv games, so much so that he refused to leave them. Not only was he a coach, I suspect he wanted to take over the Canadian improv games, which is like, why? Anyways, we are going to move on to our next guest. As mentioned, one of my personal favorites, one of the audience's most reviled regulars on At Home with James. We haven't seen him throughout the summer. Let's welcome Dave Kaufman's 9-year-old nephew, Jack Kaufman.
Hi, James. How's it going?
Hey, Jack. How's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good.
Well,
doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Was everything okay, buddy?
Yeah, it's okay. A little bit sad.
Oh, you're a little bit sad? Why is that?
Well, summer's winding down, and it's my favorite season.
Oh, well, don't be sad. I mean, you're going to get summer next year. There's 2 more seasons to go, and then we'll be right back there, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, what do you got in your hand there, buddy?
I got my 2 favorite toys. My little alpaca. His name is Flacca. and a little sloth.
Right, and we've got some history with your little friends. We believe that one of them has a political allegiance. Is that fair to say, Jack?
Yeah, the sloth, Randy, is a bit of a right-wing sloth. And
Well, what's
well, go for it. What's your question?
I was gonna say, what's Randy the Sloth think about current events?
Well, I mean, he has opinions about the fact that our RBG died today, and he thinks that they should push through a new Supreme Court member. And I thought it was too soon, and it was sort of hypocritical because of the whole Merrick Garland situation. At least that's what Flacca told me.
Okay, so Randy the Sloth is looking to fill Ruth Bader Ginsburg's slot ASAP.
Yeah, he wants a right-wing Supreme Court justice.
Okay, can you tell us about your current location, by the way?
Sure.
Jack?
Yeah, well, as you can see, behind me is a wall of jelly beans. I opened a bag of Jelly Bellies the other day, and I found a golden ticket inside, and I won a tour of the Jelly Bean Factory.
Oh, that's nice. And have you been having fun?
Yeah, well, I'm posing in front of the wall of beans, but soon I'm gonna get back to the whole tour.
What's your favorite flavor, Jack?
I like popcorn.
Popcorn is your favorite flavor of jelly bean?
Yeah, popcorn jelly beans.
Why is that? Is your voice changing, Jack? Are you growing into your teen years?
As you know, James, I have Jack's disease.
Right, which is?
Well, it's the same disease that Robin Williams had in the movie Jack, where he played across Jennifer Lopez, who played Miss Marquez.
Yeah, and that's your favorite movie.
It's one of my favorite movies because I like Jennifer Lopez from her stint as the Fly Girls on In Living Color. With
what are some of your other favorite movies, Jack?
Well, Keenan Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans and David Alan Grier. Great show.
Well, I asked you what your other favorite movies were, not your favorite actors.
Oh, sorry. I like Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks.
Yep.
I like Good Morning Vietnam. That's another Robin Williams movie.
Okay, so you're a bit of a Robin Williams fan.
Yeah, I like Robin Williams.
Pretty sad that he passed away, right?
No.
It was not sad that Robin Williams passed away?
No. It was, death is a part of life.
Right, but it can be, so you're saying death isn't sad?
No.
You're 9. You're 9 years old.
You have to understand I have Jack's disease, James.
But that doesn't justify why you can't find sadness in death.
I'm going to die probably at the age of 26. So I've got to be ready for death.
You're only 9 years old right now.
Yeah. But I do things that are far beyond my age.
Well, like what?
Well, let me think. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of
What's that, Jack?
I've been doing a lot of
Okay, I think I know what happened, Jack. I think your parents put a censorship mechanism in your microphone because when you come on this show, you tend to curse a lot, Jack.
Yeah, well, they did. They put a censorship thing. So if I say things like that, they won't let me say it.
Well, yeah, but Jack, I remember when you came on last time, I said you have to try to curb your cursing, buddy. That's not going to do well for you in school, in life.
Well, it's not, they gave me this little curse machine. So if I say things like then I can't really say it, but I also get a little electric shock.
Oh, what, you're telling me that your parents not only have installed a censorship button on your microphone, but it also shocks you?
Yeah, there's a little electric shock that I get in my hiney.
Okay, well, that works because you've exchanged one word for hiney.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It did work.
Okay, so we're on a path to to finer verbiage, Jack.
What does verbiage mean?
Well, verbiage is the ways in which that we speak to each other, the way that we communicate each other using words.
So if I said like, it would be like I would be using inappropriate verbiage.
Exactly. It would be inappropriate verbiage. And I guess you just got shocked as well.
Yeah. My
well,
ass. It didn't work that time.
Well, maybe
ass
sometimes
is raw. The program's broken.
Well, so maybe hold on. Maybe it's reading it like donkey.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe we should try another. As much as I don't want you to get shocked, can you try another word? Maybe a word that starts with F and ends with K.
Fire truck.
Oh, so that's a fun joke, Jack. Do you like fire trucks?
Yeah, I love them. When I grow up, I want to be a firefighter.
Oh, that's very noble of you. Okay, so you want to help people.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for expanding on that answer.
I didn't know you wanted an expansion. You want an expansion?
Yeah, well, tell us why you want to help people.
Well, it's less about helping people and more about sliding down poles.
Okay, so you like the act of going down the pole.
Yeah, it seems like fun, you know? So I think I'd just do like the first part over and over again.
Well, I don't know if you'll have a lot of success remaining employed, Jack.
Why not?
Well, you got to fight the fires, buddy.
Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, my uncle, Dave.
Yep.
He's a big fan of 9/11.
Wait, your Uncle Dave is a big fan of 9/11?
Yeah, he's like a big super fan.
He's a super fan of 9/11?
Yeah.
In what way?
I'm not sure. He has all sorts of memorabilia, but he has a fire hat, and he let me try it on one time, and I liked the way it looked on my head.
Okay, so it sounds like your Uncle Dave admired the people that were helping, that he admires the firemen for their heroic behavior.
I hope so.
Well, didn't you also say that you were concerned that your Uncle Dave was becoming radicalized?
Yeah, I am concerned about that.
Well, tell us why.
Well, you know, he spends all his time on the internet and he slams on his keyboard and he complains about all sorts of things, you know, online. And then last night, late at night, his burner phone went off, and he said something about sleeper cell.
Okay, so you were to understand that your Uncle Dave has a burner. You know what a burner phone is?
Yeah. Here, it's right here. I stole it. I stole his burner phone.
Okay, well, what's on there? Can you let us? Is that a Nokia?
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, the battery's dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'll plug it in and I'll find out who's on here.
Okay, thanks. Well, Jack, you mentioned that summer's your favorite season. What did you get up to this summer?
Well, you know, a lot of stuff. You know, I went to the beach, hung out by the beach. I played some games, social distance. You know, social distance board games.
Yeah, which games?
Candyland.
Oh, so you played socially distanced Candyland.
Yeah.
How'd that work out for you? Did you win?
No. I lost.
Okay, so I'm sorry to hear that. What else did you do this summer?
Oh, you know,
What's that now?
I said I
Now, of course you're being censored. You know that because you're getting it. It almost seems like you're impervious to the shocks, Jack.
Well, you know, when you've been shocked as many times as me by, you know, your uncle, you sort of get used to it.
I don't want you to get shocked again, but I want you to, and I want for the people in the chat to try to decipher this. I want you to nice and slowly say what you said that you did over the summer.
Okay. Well, I met a nice lady, and then I took her and and we had a good time.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're in the chat right now and you can decipher that, talk amongst yourselves about what 9-year-old Jack did with this lady he met. Jack, tonight's a bit of a night where we're discussing kind of traditional nerd things. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you like that you'd consider yourself nerdy over?
Oh, I like video games.
Oh, which ones?
You ever play Asteroids?
Sure, yeah.
Asteroids. I like Pong.
Okay.
I like Donkey Kong, the original.
Okay, so you like the old school video games.
Yeah, I like the old school video games. I found an old Atari in my uncle's attic.
Okay, your Uncle Dave.
Yeah, and he had it rigged as some kind of detonation device.
Well, what else did you find in the attic?
I found schemas, like blueprints of big buildings.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like there's some cause for concern for your Uncle Dave.
What do you mean?
Well, you're making it seem like your Uncle Dave is planning some sort of attack.
Maybe.
Well, how about this, Jack? You want to make a deal with me, buddy?
Sure, yeah.
How about you go back up to the attic and try to dig a little deeper so we understand what your old pal James is doing working with your Uncle Dave?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm starting to get a little worried about the affiliation that I've made with Dave based off this kind of questionable information that you're giving to me.
Okay, well, I'll spy on him if you want.
You're going to spy? Where's your Uncle Dave right now?
I don't know. He left in a huff.
But he left his burner phone.
He left his burner phone. Yeah, so
okay.
He must be really, he must think that he's not going to need his stuff anymore.
Okay, well, I hope for your sake and for his wife and daughter's sake, he comes back. What do you think about your new relationship with your cousin?
Oh, she's the best. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah. And where is she right now?
She's off with her boyfriend.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Dave's daughter has a boyfriend. That's true. She's dating someone 2 weeks older than her.
Yeah, well, she has a new boyfriend now. She dumped that guy.
Oh, what's the new guy like?
He's okay. He drools a lot. He's got a mustache.
Oh, so and how old is he?
He's 6 months old, so double her age.
So he's a 6-month-old baby with a mustache.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is John.
John. Okay, that's a traditional name.
Yeah, what'd you think it was going to be?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Well, Jack, I want to thank you so much for being here and try to keep the swearing under wraps. Okay, buddy? You're doing good, but I know you can do better.
You got it, pal.
Hey, any last words? Any last words?
I've got a couple of last words.
Okay.
And shove it up your...
All right. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for being here.
Bye, James.
That's Jack Kaufman, Dave's 9-year-old nephew who has Jack's disease, in which it's never totally explained when he's here. He claims it's the same thing that Robin Williams' character, Jack, from the movie Jack, is ailing from. And he always manages to bring up Jennifer Lopez's character from that movie. Before we move on to our final segment of the night, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask for you to join us tomorrow night, right here at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Saturday surprise edition of the show. On tomorrow night's show, the Captain Dimitri Kires. On tomorrow night's show, Andy Asaf. On tomorrow night's show, On the Couch with Carmen Rose, in which she is guaranteed to me that there will be 99% fewer awkward pauses in her hosting. So stay tuned for that. That is tomorrow night right here on twitch.tv/@homewithjames. In addition, do not forget that starting this Monday, we are back to Monday night broadcasts. We're going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We are tightening our broadcast week from 5 episodes a week to 3. You might be asking, James, I really like seeing you 5 nights a week, and I do too. I love the relationship that we have built together. I love what we have curated, what we have fashioned. But me and the brain trust in the At Home with James family believe that we can accomplish what we do in 5 nights, tighten it up, put the screws to it in a good way and do everything that we do in 5 nights now in 3 action-packed nights, in which we can also take a bit of time to advertise, promote, and make that chat a lot more lively. Because right now, Sid Rock is the king of the chat. Someone has got to challenge him for the royal throne. Don't forget, we will also be having 1 big Saturday episode a month and 1 big Sunday morning episode a month. How's that going to work out? I don't know. You figure it out. As said by the famous Steve Spiros of Kitchener-Waterloo, who has previously won the Dude of the Year primary, to now be joined by the guy who wanted to get into the Eaton Center in Toronto to shop and a burning Jeep, which made it through this week's primaries. That's happening right here on Twitch. Let us move on to our final segment of the night. Once again, let's bring back Marc Rowland. Marc, the time is now on its way in which you meet the one and only Game Master. This is big. This is huge. How many beers have you had in the time frame since we last spoke? About 25 minutes ago.
I've just down 3.
Okay, so it looks like, I can tell based off of how logy you look.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say bye earlier, James. I didn't think it was necessary.
It was very contemptible. Marc?
Yeah.
I need to let you know that I have received an email from the Game Master, also known as Overlord616Sith@gmail.com, with a variety of production notes. Are you ready?
Okay.
Before we do this, let us welcome, and apparently he has demanded that his music be played. So this guy is a true stickler, so we know he's a real life nerd. Let's welcome the Game Master.
Oh, yeah. Waiting for this for a long time. You're finally where I want you, Mark.
Game Master, welcome to At Home with James. You were here last night. I was happy to make your acquaintance. How are you doing, Game Master?
Feel energized, James. My processor is computing at 50 gigawatts per second.
Is that
My
good?
arms are built of platinum and chrome. And my brain is on fire.
Are you okay, man?
Yeah. Better
Okay.
than all right.
Game Master, this is a moment you've been waiting for. You came to us in a shroud of mystery and intrigue, where you became somewhat acquainted with Marc Rowland, who I vouched for as the nerdiest person I know. You saw him go through a series of nerd versus noob segments in which you created the scenarios for. He won 0 out of 4. How does it feel to have Marc in your sights?
Look at him. He is so weak and pathetic. Of course, in his mind, his muscles are so strong, of course. Look at you, Mark. You have nothing to say for yourself.
Well, Marc, how do you respond to those really mean insults?
What? I'm weak, pathetic, and I think my muscles are strong. Strong.
Yeah, they're not that they are strong. You think they're strong.
I think they're strong. Yeah. Well, I don't have much to say to it except that was a pretty weak insult overall.
Weak insult. Oh, just you wait for what I got in store for you, Rowland.
You know, I think this is a great opportunity, James. I'm really glad I'm here because I was actually getting a few emails, people thinking that I was the Game Master. They were accusing me
Okay, so this is good because we're confirming that you are not the game master unless you've got some type of technical capabilities in which we are not even aware exist. Game master, you can confirm that you are not, in fact, Marc Rowland.
You can possibly be the game master. Look at him. So handsome and strong. Not at all like a nerd. Look at you.
Okay, well, I want to dig deep here, Game Master, a little bit. I know that you're here. This is a special occasion. Can you tell us, if you could, what do you look like, Game Master? Because, of course, we don't see you.
I am wet, slippery and foul. My skin crawls with gigabytes and stinks of old cheese and monster cans. The top of my head has been under a toque for 8,000 years, and my eyesight, absolutely terrible.
So I don't know if this is as much nerd as it is unwashed incel.
Very closely similar, an off-breed of the nerd, but I am pure in every way. Look at him. Look at me. I am obviously the primal nerd.
Well, we can't look at you, of course. Before we get into the notes that you sent me, do you have anything to say to Mark, who went 0 and 4 in your nerd versus noob scenarios?
How could you, Mark? We had so much hope for you. I had so much hope for you, Mark. You had everything, all the attributes, the plus modifiers to be a perfect nerd. And then you turned your back on me, didn't you, Mark? You turned your back on what you loved. You turned your back on your master.
You're talking about we. Who's
Mark,
we?
Who is we, Game Master?
Why, I am everything, and I am nothing. I am inside your computers right now. In fact, I can collapse your entire bank accounts if I wanted to. Let me take a look right here to see what's inside Marc Rowland's bank account. Beep, boop, boop, beep. $59.37. A recent purchase at Tim Hortons. What'd you buy, Mark? Farmer's wrap. What's wrong, Mark? Can't afford brunch?
Well, Mark, what do you have to say for yourself, knowing that you have apparently disappointed the Game Master?
I don't think I've ever had a farmer's wrap before. I did purchase something.
Yeah, I think the verbalization of beep, boop, beep, boop left something to be questioned. Look, I want to get into the format in which you have sent to me, Game Master. Of course, I am an accommodating host. Let us begin. You have demanded that Mark plead his case. Now, what does that mean?
I'd like to put Mark through the ultimate nerd test. Okay. And this shan't be determined by a scenario or by menial questions that a simple 6th grader could answer. No, I have something far more sinister and difficult in store for Mark.
Well, it says
3 questions.
Okay.
3 difficult questions that will put you to the test, Mark.
Well, I feel like you said that there weren't any questions.
Okay, well, I have 3 questions. I suppose you can categorize them as questions, and they will determine whether or not you are a nerd, Mark. For this is the dichotomous key.
Oh, that's pretty good. I have to say, I'm pretty skeptical right now, James. This guy, he really sounds like he's trying too hard, but also like he missed an incredible opportunity. He came up with this idea of like, you disappointed us. I gave it back to him to like expand on it. Like, maybe there's some kind of cabal of nerds, a council. He said something like master. He didn't follow up on it. He's like, I'm in your gigabytes. Like he totally flubbed it. He fucked up. So
look at the size of this guy's headphones. Have we all forgotten about that?
Is that a good or a bad thing, Game Master?
We shall see.
Okay, so you've got 3 questions that are apparently difficult. And you have named this the dichotomous key. Let's get question number 1.
Yes. These questions are designed to attack Marc Rowland's being directly. The first question goes as such. Marc, are you prepared?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Marc Rowland, if that is your name, I present to you with a this or that scenario. You choose this or that. On one hand, Marc, you receive a text message from your very, very close friends. Why, they've put together one of your favorite board game for the evening. It's called Twilight Imperium, is it not?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
They lay it out. The game already set up. You know it has a lot of pieces. Your only thing missing from that game is you. They're there waiting for you and they can't wait to get started. Oh, and how many hours are they willing to play? They're willing to play infinite amounts.
Sounds awful.
However, you quickly realize that your phone is buzzing again, Marc. You reach down, pull it up, and realize it's a text message from a beautiful, beautiful partner, a babe, if you will. They're saying you must come over immediately. They have a surprise in store for you, but you have to come right now. It just can't wait, Marc. What do you choose, Marc Rowland? What do you choose?
Well, I think it seems pretty clear. I organized, a game of Twilight Imperium 4. I also own 3 with 2 of the expansions, but I don't play that anymore. 4 is now my game of choice. I organized it. They're all there. They're ready to play. If I get this, unscripted text to come over, I'm going to have to say, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'll come by tomorrow.
Okay, Game Master, that's a terrible decision, which sounds like it's right up your alley.
It is very interesting that Marc would choose his friends over the babe, the game versus the babe, but
it's not a matter of babe versus game.
It sounds like it is, Marc. In this scenario, it is a matter of that.
No, it's a matter of scheduled or not. Did we have a scheduled meeting?
Okay, very nerdy, lame answer. Game Master, of course, this sounds like it's a follow-up to one of your criticism last night that Marc has walked away from what it means to be a true nerd in favor of dating women.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't sound like he's going down that pathway in this particular scenario.
Not yet, James, you are correct, but I do have 2 more questions for Marc.
Right.
Marc Rowland. You have seen a flyer on the side of the road and you pick it up. It reads, free Warhammer miniatures and paint being offered at the Eaton Center Mall. Why, you've never seen anything like this before. Free Warhammer figurines? Why, that could be an $100 offer? No. 300? Nay, $600 offer free of charge. However, you were on your way somewhere, Marc. An improv festival that was being put together by Jim Bingo from the LA Zip Zap School that's very famous. But he's fallen ill, and they've called you, Marc, to do the headlining spot. You're about to crush in front of 250 people. Which do you choose? Miniatures or a killer set, as they call it?
Well, I'm going to go along with a similar situation where I was organized to play a set. That's what I was meant to do. So I'm going to go do a set. If I can't fit in the time to get to the shop, that's too bad. I might call a friend and say, hey, why don't you go down and see if you can pick up something good? This is what I'd be interested in. A little bit of collaboration.
Now, I love this answer, but it's not what the Game Master might love because you picked entertaining an audience instead of playing with toys.
Yes, it is not nerdy. That is true, James, but expected. For I have said before, and I will say again, Marc is too cool to be a nerd.
Okay. So it seems like you're staying on the horse that you rode in on. You have one more question.
Yes, the final question. And Mark, I warn you, choose wisely. You have plans to hang out with one of your best friends in the entire world.
All of these scenarios involve that he has preset plans. All of these questions are scheduling based. They're all scheduling, and Mark won't break his plans.
Yes. Yes, they are. A game pattern, if you will. Mark, you have plans.
Yeah, I do.
With a very good friend of yours. His name, James McGee. The very host of this show. Yeah. What's this? James is calling for you. He says, please come. It'd be great to see you, my friend Marc Rowland.
It doesn't sound like me.
Mark, you already have plans, don't you? Oh,
so Mark has plans to see me, but he already has plans somewhere else.
You have double booked yourself, Mark. How a foolish thing for somebody so smart and big-brained as yourself. How can you make such a foolish mistake? Your other plans, Mark? A sleepover with your best friends playing Street Fighter.
Okay, hold on here. I want to chime in here. So yes. The question began with, Mark, you have plans with your best friend James. Suddenly, you have plans with your best friends who want to play Street Fighter.
Yes, they're playing Street Fighter, hanging out, and they're having a sleepover in the middle of a snowstorm. Mark, it's the best Street Fighter of all. And the candy will flow endlessly. And guess what?
The candy will flow endlessly.
Yes.
Who's at this sleepover? Jack Kaufman with his jelly beans?
Could be. Some really cool dudes. But James is not there. He wouldn't be caught dead. He's the coolest guy in the world. James McGee is the definition of cool. He represents everything that is cool and everything that will be cool. So, Mark, I ask you, finally, what do you choose?
Yeah, Mark, do you choose your plans or your plans?
Or my plans. I'd have to weigh my options and see how I could do. I'd look at it in a utilitarian way. So how can I minimize harm and do the best good? Was I necessary at the Street Fighter evening? Like, am I the one bringing the system? If so, I guess I have to go. If they're all set up and there's like 3, 4 or more people, then I'm going to hang out with James, because otherwise he's not going to be able to do anything, because like he'll have to find his own thing, which is like eating soup in front of his radio. And then we'll just get to it.
Yeah, that sounds like me eating soup in front of my radio.
You've offended your best friend. I need an answer, Mark. We all need an answer. That was a non-answer, right, James?
Well, I mean, you lost me. I was eating soup alone in front of my radio.
No, that's your option if you're not hanging out with me.
This is foolish. And again, you have disappointed me, Mark. These non-answers are weak. And
so they're all non-answers?
They're just the last one.
Okay.
I have my answer, James. Would you like to hear it?
Okay, so after 3 questions that you have proposed and you have presented to Mark and what you have called the dichotomous key, you have settled on an answer as to whether or not Mark is a true nerd.
Yes. Unfortunately, Mark, I have outplayed you totally. You fell right into my trap. Yes, you chose the nerd answer, but at what cost? You've walked away on your friends, on James. Perhaps you are the biggest nerd, Mark, but you have lost everything in the process, and I have won.
Wait, so he's a nerd, but you won?
Yes. Yeah, and it's so sweet. You've lost everything that a cool person gets, and all you're left with is your nerdy self. You fool.
Yeah, but I hung out with my very, very cool friend James.
No, you said that was a non-answer. I'm disqualifying that answer.
Okay, look, I want to corral this because Game Master, it feels like you're getting flustered, and Mark, you're having a great time.
Yeah.
There's another piece to this puzzle, but before we get onto that, Mark, you have a suspicion about the Game Master in terms of his whereabouts. Can you please present that suspicion?
All right, Game Master, I have a very strong suspicion that you are living in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Mark, you just backed up onto your couch like you're about to watch someone strip for you.
I'm waiting for the show.
All right, yeah. So Game Master Mark believes that you are from Grand Rapids, Michigan, due to the 616 in your email address that he believes to be an area code.
Yeah.
Very good, Mark. You've done it. You've solved my 616 puzzle, haven't you? Yes. So you have some intellect, I'm willing to admit, but not all of it. That is what I possess.
Okay, great. The secret's out. I have a surprise for both of you. Mark, for the past month and a half or so, you have been here almost every week, save for the last 2 weeks in which you competed in the Ultimate Nerd Test. Prior to that, you spent 4 weeks competing against noobs in a segment called Nerd versus Noob, where you and this supposed noob receive and answer a variety of role-playing game scenarios.
Yep.
Tonight, we will feature what could very well be the final Nerd versus Noob, where Mark, you are in the noob position against the Game Master, who is in the nerd position.
Yes, finally. The rightful nerd is in the right place, and the right noob is exactly where he should be.
Well, as opposed to previous iterations where there were 3 scenarios, tonight, this is a sudden death, winner take all, 1 scenario each situation.
All right.
Yes.
Game Master, since you are our guest, you will be going first. Are you ready for your scenario?
I was digitized ready.
Well, let us begin. Game Master, you have long dwelt in the Crystal Castle amongst the Flu-Ku-Nuku, the peace-loving bird people of Mount Alarnith, as a ranger guarding the wilds. Unfortunately, one day you break one of the sacred taboos and eat one of the holy eggs from the mother nests. The screeching and cawing of the bird people who caught you in this act still haunts you. For days, you feel a strange craving slowly building in your belly, which drives you mad and prompts you to consult the wise sage, Green Matilda, who lives by the waterfall of wonder. By the power of the cooling mists, she informs you that you have been cursed by the bird people with the brown tongue, also known as the Coprophalanius in High Eldar, or otherwise known as poop mouth in the back alleys of Fungdun. The cure, she says, to consume the largest dragon turd you can find in one sitting. Failure to complete this task will result in you slowly becoming a shit eater, a horrible undead creature that subsides on human effluent. You know that there are just so many things that could happen. Excuse me, I want to repeat that. You know that there just so happens to be a red dragon that dwells in the depths of the catacombs beneath the Crystal Castle. Resolved, you thank Green Matilda and go on your way. What do you do?
First and foremost, that was too long.
I agree.
A sign of a very poorly written scenario, but I will humor it. First and foremost, the red dragon, Everyone knows that the dragons in that region have been dead for millennia. A ruse set upon, a curse that is already too difficult to remove. Everyone knows this, and everyone will know this. So instead of wasting my time going deep and searching for this invisible dragon, I know the real source. Green Matilda, the one who's behind it from the very beginning. Everyone knows that green before a first name indicates that she is a bog witch from the 5th dimension of Elzaldor. Yes, the Elf King indeed. He does still have power and sway in this region. Yes, I know it to be true. Green Matilda is swayed by not many things, but this, I know that she is. My ass. I dance for her romantically and willingly, for she is swayed by the romantic gyrations of my body. This, a halfling, I am skilled in. Yes, I dance. She falls into a deep slumber, for I have satisfied every single one of her needs. In the darkness of the night, while she rests satisfied, I slip into her herb cabinet and reach for a bottle of alchemic fluid that I ingest, removing the egg from my stomach. Is that satisfactory, Mark?
A very long answer for a very long question. Mark, how do you think the Game Master did?
I thought that was really, I thought it was very clever. I think there were some interesting aspects to it. It was very confidently delivered. One point against it, though, it involved, I think it was just too much sex. I feel like this guy's obsessed with sex. Every scenario involves sex. His answer involves sex. I think, for our audience, it's just too much.
Mark, I couldn't agree more. Are you ready for your scenario?
I'm ready.
I warn you, Mark. I warn you.
Is there a follow-up to that warning?
Just a warning for now.
Okay, great. Mark, you are a young nerd boy from Quebec City. Your name is Marc Rowland. You are in your room one day eagerly perusing your comic books and hanging out with your best friend, Stevie. You are having fun when all of a sudden a rock hits your window. You rush over and see that it's your other best friend, Wayne. So also in these scenarios, you have multiple best friends. He is pulled up on his BMX bicycle and has torn up your front yard. He tells you to throw your lame-ass comic books, your figurines, and your stupid friend Stevie to the curb. He's heading down to the empty public pool to work out, drink beer, and make out, and also do improv. He tells you to move your little ass and come with him. You contemplate the choice as you stare at the watery-eyed Stevie holding the first issue of Game Master magazine. What do you do, Mark? What do you do? Tell them the truth.
What did you do, Mark, that day? What did you do?
Stevie?
Mark. Tell them the truth, Mark. Tell them what you gave up.
Stevie, I guess I took off, but that's because I had previous plans with that guy.
You always had plans!
Yeah, I did. I had plans. I'm sorry, Stevie.
Wait, hold on here. Are you trying to indicate to me that the Game Master is this Stevie?
Yeah, I went to school with this guy who's Stevie, and one day, like after grade 7, he moved away to Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I didn't have my strong friend Mark to help me. I was bullied relentlessly. I had no friends, so my mom took me out of school at Quebec City, and I moved to the most peaceful place on earth, Grand Rapids, Michigan, where people like me could thrive, and I found a community there, Mark.
Okay, so you know the Game Master?
Yeah, we were friends back in grade 6.
Okay, so it sounds like this whole grudge that you've been holding, Stevie, is due to some type of jealousy and feelings of abandonment.
You will call me the Game Master, the omniscient being I have no equal. Mark is dead to me, and I want to prove to the world that he is no nerd. He gives nerds like us a bad name.
Well, Mark, I guess before we move on to the final judgment on Judgment Night, do you have an answer to this scenario?
Yeah, I guess if I were to go back in time, I would I open up that window and I look out at that guy on his, BMX bike. I don't
Wayne.
even remember his name. Yeah,
Wayne.
but Wayne and I were barely even friends. We just like, his dad and my dad were friends. And anyway, I would yell at Wayne and I say, Wayne, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'm hanging out with Stevie. We're going to read some comic books. We've got X-Men number 243. And we're going to just read all day and make characters, just like elves.
Mark.
Okay, I got to pause this. I can't take this shit anymore. We have to decide a scenario because this whole nerd thing is driving me crazy. We have now reached the conclusion of the sudden death edition of Nerd versus Noob, but unlike previous editions where I would declare the winner, I have a surprise for both of you.
What?
I will not be declaring the winner. Game Master, Mark, you will not be working together to collectively decide on a winner. There is a surprise guest who will be declaring the winner.
What?
I would like for you, Game Master, and you, Mark, and our audience right now on twitch.tv/@home-with-James to welcome the powerful, overruling, and venomous ultimate decider. Please welcome the Master of Games.
What? What's the meaning of this? Whoa. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. A Master of Games, I think we can hear you.
Okay, good, great. I'm tapped into the web. I am tapped in. It is I, the Master.
Wait, our
Games.
feed is cut off. Our feed is cut off. It's just technical difficulties, Master of Games.
I'm hacked in. Even though I was invited, I'm hacked in.
Yeah, I sent you the Zoom link.
You sent me the Zoom link, but I hacked in nonetheless.
Okay, so we are here. We're speaking with the Master of Games. Master of Games, talk to us.
Well, as you know, I control all the game masters in all of the world. I am the Game Master, aka Master of Games, aka...
What's that name again?
Game Master, aka Master of Games, aka the CEO of Game Town, aka the mayor of the game company.
Okay, so CEO Game Town is a board game store, right?
Yes, that's right. It's a competitor to GameStop.
Okay, great. So you have seen both the Game Master and Marc Rowland. Game Master, how do you feel?
Well, Master of Games. Oh wait, sorry. Who are you talking to, James?
I was talking to Game Master, not Master of Games.
Okay. So that's me. Yeah. Listen, Master of Games. I've got this totally under control, sir. You don't have to get involved in. We can chat later with my write-up about this. I'm very disappointed of you, Game Master. All of your questions had to do with other plans. That's a terrible streak of questions. Spice it up. Change it up. Come on, man. You're right again, Master of Games. I just, he did have a lot of plans when we were growing up together, and I really hated him for it. So I just wanted to try to bring a personal touch to my questions, right? Right, but when I sent you out on this mission, you told me you did not know Marc Rowland, and it turns out that you were best friends as a child, thus going against one of the main rules of games.
That's one of the main rules of games? Mark, what is this world you're involved in? How do you expect me to not make fun of you for this?
The
rules of games is you can't know the person?
You can't be friends. You can know them, but you can't really know them.
Yeah, thanks for that very disturbing and creepy delivery. Okay, so Master of Games, you have to decide between Marc Rowland and the Game Master as to who wins the ultimate nerd versus noob.
Well, I'm thinking.
Well, take us through some of your decisions. Obviously, we know how you felt about Game Master's repetitive use of making plans in his scenarios. What did you think the Game Master did well?
Well, I thought his answer was very detailed, but on the same note, it was also quite long and quite boring. In fact, even I was bored.
Okay. Now, how about Mark? What type of criticism do you have for Marc? Again, please.
Can I ask you to do one thing, Master of Games?
I'll allow it.
Now, I know you've been watching week after week and you've seen my performance every week. So
Sure,
can you take into account my performance through the whole series?
Well, your performance prior was very sexual. You did a lot of and a lot more of, and sometimes you would touch your own.
I don't recall that last part happening on the show. I don't recall Marc touching himself on the show.
I've hacked into his webcam.
Oh, so Marc has been masturbating on his own webcam?
Well, some people call it masturbating. I call it.
Marc, how do you respond to these allegations?
Well, I just meant what was happening on the show. And I think I did the best I could considering the information I was given.
Okay, so apparently it's being held against you, whatever you do privately in your own home.
That's not true. For masturbating on the internet is one of the nerdiest things a person can do. Oh yeah, it's big points. It's huge points. For a huge...
Okay, now what? Okay, so we know that there's some criticisms. Is there anything else that you like that Marc has been up to other than his online masturbation?
I quite like the sentimentality of that last answer. It brought a tear to my eye, which fried my circuits.
Well,
are you a cyborg?
Yeah, that's what I was like. These guys are often talking about their own CPU and their iOS and their...
One day I will be a cyborg.
Look, I don't want to get into that. Master of Games, it's time for you to declare, finally, who is the ultimate nerd and who is the ultimate noob. Before doing that, I would like to give Marc and the Game Master one last opportunity. 30 seconds to plead your case. Marc Rowland, since the Game Master began with his scenario responses, you have 30 seconds to plead your case, and those 30 seconds begin now.
I think week after week, I've been given difficult tasks with high achievement values required. And yes, I've struggled as a character. My hit points have taken hit after hit after hit, and I've reached a critical level, but I think today that I rolled a natural 20.
All right, Marc, that's your time. Game Master, plead your case. Your 30 seconds begins now.
Marc sucks.
You
don't need the rest of my time.
5 seconds. Yeah.
No. Give it back to Marc. He cedes his time.
Okay, so Marc, you came in at 27 seconds. Game Master, you came in with 2 lines of dialogue at 13 seconds. Master of Games, it is now your time to make your ultimate judgment.
Well, this is a tough choice. On the one hand, you have Marc's continuous effort to better himself as a nerd. And on the other hand, you have the statement Marc sucks. But after a lot of pondering and a lot of computing in my brain, I've come to a conclusion. The winner of Nerd vs. Noob, Marc Rowland versus the Game Master, is none other than the nerdiest person out there, Marc Rowland.
Marc, you have finally won an edition of Nerd versus Noob. You are officially a nerd. Game Master, how do you feel?
This is an absolute malfunction. Don't you think? You're making the wrong choice. You can't demote me, Master of Games. Game Master, you are no longer middle management. You are now a simple employee. No, please don't take away my powers. They mean so much to me, Master of Games. Please. Give me your key card to your corner office. If I give it back to you, I lose my powers, Master of Games. I said, give it to me. No! Yeah.
Wait, you guys work in the same video game place?
Yeah.
Look. Oh. What?
I'm so sad now.
Oh, Stevie.
Oh. Listen, Stevie, can I say one thing, James?
Yeah, please.
Stevie, look, I play a role-playing game on Thursdays on Roll20, and I'd love to have you as a player. If you want to join, would you like to? All right.
Can I play a cleric? It's my favorite class.
Yeah, you can.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay.
Steve, I have one last thing to say to you.
Yeah, for Steve. Yeah, please, guys. For Stevie, the game master, Marc Rowland, you have won. Any final words?
Oh, I'm just happy. I feel vindicated. I've leveled up.
Finally, Master of Games, do you have a final declaration before we call it an evening?
Yeah, Stevie. Go yourself.
Well, that's our edition of At Home with James tonight. Certainly one of the weirder ones, at least since our Microsoft night, which might appeal to the Master of Games. Folks, tune in tomorrow night, 9:00 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/athomewithjames. I have to go take a shower because I'm almost ashamed of myself for facilitating all of this. Until then, I am James. That is the Game Master, a.k.a. Stevie. That is Marc Rowland. That is the Master of Games. You are you. We were here. Good night. Goodbye. Farewell. And be well.